Euroslam, back with another video. Today we're doing a little NBA playoff prediction video. Playoffs start today. Today's something a little different. I'm going to give you my predictions, and after that, on the weekend, I was out around town. I interviewed a few friends. They're going to give their prediction. We'll see all that after mine. So first off, we're going to get into the Eastern Conference first. So first off, we got one day. You got Milwaukee's playing Orlando. I would expect Milwaukee's going to have a pretty easy time with them. Should be 4 or 5 games. Milwaukee's been a bit off, but Orlando is just, they're not much of a threat to the Milwaukee Bucks. Don't put any upset there. Second seeded Toronto Raptors playing the Brooklyn Nets. Same scenario. Brooklyn Nets have been feisty in the bubble, but they're missing half their team in injury. I'm taking Toronto Raptors. Could be a sweep. I expect it to be a sweep for 5 games the most. In the third and sixth spot, you got Boston playing Philly. I'm taking Boston over Philly. Don't be surprised if Philly get 2 games out of it, though. Embiid should be a chair. They don't have much defense in the paint for Boston there, but their scoring ability is unreal with Kemba, Tatum. You got Jaylen Brown. You got Gordon Hayward. So they should have a pretty easy time in the end beating Philly, but don't be surprised if Philly had a few games out of there. Philly's going to have a hard time scoring out of Embiid, so taking Boston. No surprise there. 4th and 5th, you got Miami and Indiana. This might be a fun series. I still think it's Miami's to lose. I think Miami should take it. Indy should get a few games out of it, but it has that Oladipo plays. Indy's missing a few guys as well. But Miami, they're young, they're scrappy. Adebayo's been great. Butler, he's a warrior. You're taking that one. Now the next round is going to get interesting because I'm going to throw out some very bold predictions here. With regards to Milwaukee playing Miami, this is actually a series I'm really looking forward to if it's what plays out. I think Miami has a legitimate shot. Milwaukee's looked a little bit off from the bubble. The 3 months off kind of throwing them off. I think Miami has defense to guard Giannis as well. Adebayo's been incredible against Giannis. They played all season. They played, I think it was back in January when Miami won. Adebayo shut down Giannis. They played again in the bubble. No Butler, but Miami almost won that game. Milwaukee in the fourth quarter pulled away. Miami was winning most of the game, so that was the out Butler. So with Butler, I think I'm taking Miami. I think it's definitely coming down to 6 or 7 games. But I'm going to bold predict Miami's going to knock out Milwaukee. I think it's a bit of a shock. People think Milwaukee's kind of taking the East, but I'm going to take Miami and knock them out. I still think Miami's a piece away, but I think Miami has the kind of gritty team that can actually beat Milwaukee. Milwaukee seems off right now. Bledsoe tends to struggle in the playoffs. Middleton, he's up and down in the playoffs. He said he didn't shoot a ball in 3 months. He doesn't even have his own basketball court at his house or net or anything. He just had 3 months off. He was pretty good in the bubble, but I'm skeptical come playoff time how they're going to be. I think they're shut Giannis down. I don't think Milwaukee's able to knock out the Heat. And then Toronto, Boston, the same thing. This series will go either way. I think you're getting 7 games in this one as well. I've been torn on this series. Boston's been my dark horse. I thought Toronto might have a hard time scoring come playoff time. We'll see how they do. They have a great pass. The defense is incredible. I just think Boston's going to edge them in those 7 games. They're going to have a hard time containing both Kemba and Tatum. Tatum's looking like a superstar these days. He struggled a bit in the bubble, but before the bubble, he was looking like a superstar. His scoring ability is unreal. So I'm taking the Celtics. You're getting the Celtics and the Heat in the conference finals. I think the Celtics are going to beat them in 5 or 6 games. Celtics have the advantage on the Heat there. Their scoring. They have lots of scoring options. They have some good defense as well. I'm taking the Celtics to come out of the East. A bit of a surprise. I think those 4 teams, anyone come out of the East. But I'm boldly predicting that the Celtics are coming out of the East. I think if they play the Bucks would edge the Celtics. I think the Celtics have the advantage as the Heat. I think the Heat have the advantage on the Bucks. The Heat are knock out the Bucks. Celtics will knock out the Heat. I think Celtics coming out of the East. That's my prediction. Now, just like the East, the Western Conference playoff matchups are also going to be a lot of fun. Everyone's expecting the Los Angeles teams to come out of the West, but there's going to be some good matchups, let's just say that. First off, we got LA and Portland. Some people are saying Portland's the greatest 8th place seed of all time. I don't know if I'm going that far. I think they're hell of a team for the 8th spot. I just don't think realistically Portland's gonna beat the Lakers. Portland, look at them in the bubble. They did a great job. They came back, took that 8th spot, but they struggle at times too. You watch them. They beat Memphis a couple of times there, but it came down to the wire. The Nets came down to the last shot. Nets wasn't playing for anything. They already had their seed. It just seems like Portland is they're an offense team. They shoot a lot of threes. Come playoff time, is that going to be okay? I don't think so. They are a really, really terrible defensive team. Lakers have looked pretty bad defensively in the playoffs too, in the bubble, but come playoff time, you got LeBron and Davis. They're going to lock down their defenders. Got good help of the rim with Davis. You got either McGee or Howard. And then you got guys like Danny Green and J.R. Smith who can defend on the wing. Now, obviously, you'd love to have Avery Bradley here to guard. Lillard's going to be a little bit tough. We get the ball in Lillard's hands, up to the other guys to score now. And come playoff, they're going to score, I don't know. And then who's going to guard LeBron? Like, you'd love to have Ariza here, but he's not there, so they don't have anybody to guard LeBron. LeBron's going to run through them. It comes down to Portland make shots, basically. You're hoping you can make a bunch of threes. I think Portland gets a game or two, maybe, but I'm taking LA in 5, 6 at most, but there's no way it's going to game 7. Davis, too, is going to tear through their team. Like, you got Nurkic and you got Whiteside, who are, like, average at best paint defenders, but they can't contain Davis on the dribble. Davis will go fly right by them. There'll be a lot of fouls coming. They'll get in foul trouble. And I don't think it's going to have that much. People think that it's going to be like a tough series, but I think Lakers are going to be okay with that one. I feel like they'll be okay. And I don't see Portland really being a huge threat to the Lakers. I think it's a fun story. Lillard's been great, but he's also going to be tired playing those 8 bubble games. He's going to be a bit exhausted. I feel like he played hard all the time. LeBron and Davis were rested, so I think it's going to be tough for Lillard. I'm taking Lakers in that series. Next up, you got the 2nd seed Clippers playing the 7th seed Dallas Mavericks. And Luka's been fantastic all season, even better in the bubble. This guy is looking like an MVP caliber player. I love Luka. It's going to be the ultimate test for him because you have like one of the best offensive teams versus one of the best defensive teams. And Luka struggled against the Clippers during the season. I think he's going to have a good series regardless, but it's hard to believe the Mavs are going to upset the Clippers. It'd be a wonderful story, especially Luka being so young and like really cement himself as on his way to becoming the all-elite superstar. But you have to take the Clippers in 5, maybe 6 at most, but it's going to be a sweep as well, realistically. I think it's still going to be a fun series. Clippers really need to kind of get their team going. They haven't played a lot together. They need this kind of their team going, getting used to playing with each other as a full team. I don't know if Harold's going to be playing the whole series or not, but either way, I mean, like, expect Kawhi and George to get it done. Porzingis should have a good series too if he can use his size to his advantage, but I think they'll have good defense on him too. They have to put somebody, a wing player, on Porzingis they can. I think they can shut him down too. So I think the advantage obviously goes to the Clippers. I think, this is heavily favored to win that series. There's no doubt they're going to pull it off. Short of like Kawhi and George getting injured, but they got that. The next one, Denver 3rd seed, 6th seed Utah Jazz. This one's going to be great too, I think. The Nuggets are favored in this series. The Jazz are missing Bogdanovic. Mike Conley's missing at least the first or second game. He left the bubble. He's having his son, so he's not there for it. And I'm a bit torn in that series because I think it could go either way. I still like the Nuggets. I've always said to me that more pretenders than contenders. I just don't really believe in the Nuggets yet. I love Jokic. I love Jamal Murray. They're still one piece away. People are saying Porter Jr. is the piece. I don't know. He's still young. We'll see. He played well in the bubble, really well in the bubble, but it's the playoffs. Is Mike Malone even going to play him that much? I think they'll try to play him, but I don't know. The Jazz are a good defensive team too. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to take over this series. I think he'll be the best player. People say Jokic's the best player of the series. I think Donovan's going to take over this series. He's going to be a hell of a scorer. I think Gobert is going to do a good job defensively for the most part. Denver's going to have Jokic passing the ball, hoping the other guys will score. But I think Utah could steal this series in 7. I'm picking the Jazz to upset the Nuggets. I think the way that I'm picking the Jazz, upset in 7 games. Next one, 4-5. This is an awesome series. You got the Thunder playing the Rockets. Wow, it's just Chris Paul, Westbrook traded for each other. Here, people in the Thunder rebuilding. Here they're getting the 4th seed. The Thunder have the 4th seed. Imagine that coming last season. You think they're rebuilding? No, 4th seed. This matchup has a lot of stories to it. Unfortunately, Westbrook is hurt. He's missing at least the first 2 games. Could miss most of the series. That's a huge blow to the Rockets. And yeah, the Rockets, they're small ball. Eric Gordon's out as well. I don't know how long he's coming back or not. That's your 2 best. 2 of your 3 best scorers are out there with no Westbrook and no Gordon. It's going to be tough. The one thing I will say is that Harden, every come playoff time, he'll say it's not clutch. For me, it's more like he's exhausted come playoff time. He plays all year long. He carries the load on his back of the team. I think he's rested a bit, having these 3 months off. I think Harden's the X factor in this series. I think Harden will go off. He's going to get 40, 50 points a game. He's going to outdoor 40, I think, in this series. I think he's going to carry the Rockets in 7. I think Westbrook comes back maybe in Game 5, gives him a little bit of leg. It's going to be close. It's going to be tied 2-2. Game 5, Westbrook comes back. I think that the Rockets are going to win it. I think Harden's going to be the star of the series, obviously. But I think he's really going to go off. He's well rested. He's hungry. He's like, hey, I'm only tired. I have some time off now. I'm rested. I think he's going to bring it. He's going to kill it. I'm taking the Rockets over the Thunder. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder win the series. But I think the Rockets, even though now they're kind of the underdog, I think they're still going to pull off. I think Harden's going to go off. I think it's going to be close games. Chris Paul's going to be terrific like he always is. But I'm taking the Rockets. Next round, that means you've got Lakers and Rockets. That could also be a good series. You're going to have a hell of a time trying to guard Anthony Davis when you got no size on your team being the Rockets. We'll see how healthy Westbrook is, but I think the Lakers are taking that series too. I think it shouldn't be too tough for them. 5-6 games. Lakers got that one. Then you got the Clippers and the Jazz. I said the Jazz upset the Nuggets. Either way, whether it's the Nuggets or the Jazz, Clippers are still going through that. I think the Jazz might get a game or 2, but I'm taking the Clippers in that series. And then you have the inevitable conference finals match everyone's expecting. Lakers and Clippers. Now this one could, everyone's kind of torn opinion for this. Clippers or Lakers, the 2 best teams in the league, I think, hands down. 2 best players, Kawhi and LeBron, going at it. Now, I am a Lakers fan, and I think this is going to be a wild game. I think it's going to 7 games. I think it's going to come down to 4th quarters. I think they're going to be close games. I think come 4th quarter, LeBron and Davis are going to have that pick and roll going. I think they're going to have a hard time containing that. Obviously, they had great wing defenders, but LeBron is so strong. And, people are forgetting we didn't see LeBron last year, but playoff LeBron is a different animal. You could say Kawhi is too, but, Kawhi, we haven't seen it enough. We saw a bit in the Spurs, but that was him as, a 3rd, 4th option. Then last year, for Raptors, the first option, he was great. That was all year. He never played against LeBron. He played against Durant for a few games, so, he didn't quite have that full playoff push, so I think it's going to be something else. Actually, guarding LeBron who's hungry for that championship. Davis wants it too. Davis never got a ring. He wants that ring. I think the Lakers they're going to be really motivated. The whole Kobe thing too. I think the Lakers are going to pull it off. I really do. I think they're coming through. Say 6 or 7. I think probably Game 7. I think the Lakers are going to pull through. Davis was too much to contain. I feel like. I know Clippers have more depth. I still comes down to the 4th quarter. LeBron and Davis are going to really be hungry. They're going to want more. At time Clippers, I think they'll have a hard time scoring at time Clippers. Obviously, you have Kawhi and George, but when LeBron comes down to the playoffs, he can actually defend really well. If you got LeBron on Kawhi, really bodying him up, Kawhi's going to have a hard time scoring at times, and he's going to have to rely on other guys to score. And that's going to be tough at the time, I think. But I think the Lakers are taking it. I'm taking Lakers, which leads us to the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals. I think Lakers have an easier time there. They're clearly the better team. I'm taking Lakers in 5 or 6. I think the Lakers to win the championship. I truly think that they shouldn't have much of a problem with the Celtics. I think it'll be a fun series of a nice rivalry from the past. The Lakers and Celtics going at it again. That's kind of my little bold prediction. People are talking about the Bucks and Clippers, the Bucks and Lakers. Don't count out the Clippers. Don't count the Raptors or the Bucks either. I'm picking Celtics and Lakers to win the championship. Who do you guys got? Let me know. On that note, I went around the weekend, new friends, interviewed them, said, who do you guys got? We'll put the videos in as well. Here's who they got. Let's listen to what they got.
All right, Timbo Slice. Who do you got, Timbo? Who's winning it?
I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to take it all.
Giannis, eh?
Okay. Giannis is going to finish it off. Take to the championship.
Okay. George, who's going to win the finals, buddy? Who do you got?
Fucking Raptors, brother. Woo! Go Raps! Back to back! Back to back! Let's get it!
All right, so my prediction for the 2020 NBA champions is going to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Hey, this year I think the NBA champions will be the Dallas Mavs. Bring it home, boys.
So you asked me to make a prediction for the NBA Finals. It's Raptors all the way, baby.
My Toronto Raptors are coming back in again for back-to-back championships. Let's go!
Who do I think's gonna win the NBA playoffs? Lots of stacked, great teams this year, but you know what? I got faith in my boys. Toronto Raptors, 2-time champs back-to-back. Let's get it.
I think the Clippers gonna win it all because they have a championship coach and a deep bench, as well as their star players.
Raptors, baby, all day. 613, you already know what it is. Boy, Sosa, aka Jonathan Winder. Raptors, baby, Raptors.
Sierra, who do you have in the finals, buddy? We got.
What's up? Man, I got diehard Raptors fan. You gotta love them ever since DeRozan got them in with the Lowry, with the Brooklyn series. I'm thinking.
Fuck Brooklyn!
They're gonna have a good series. But like just ultimately with the whole COVID, with everything that's going on, it's unmistakable. The Lakers might have it. But you know what? It's gonna be a good series. It's gonna 6 or 7.
Who do you got, though?
I got the Lakers in 6.
Lakers, okay.
Hey, Lakers in 6. You heard it here first. CR. Lakers.
All right, I'm here with Rory. Who do you got for finals, bro? What do you got?
How's it going? I make a proclamation right now. I'm a huge Raptors fan. I'm pulling for the Raps. Personally, on paper, I think the Clips. The Clips might have this. The Clippers on paper.
That small ball.
Kawhi, Paul George, perimeter defense, great bench, good depth, all that. My dark horse is Nuggets, so don't sleep on the Nuggets. Watch out. Go Raps, though. Go Raps. Come on.
My prediction for the NBA playoffs. Okay, so I'm going, it's going to be a Milwaukee-Toronto East showdown like last year. Okay, 7 games for sure. I think it's going to be Lakers and the Clippers for the West. I don't think the Clippers are going to make it. I think they're going to lose. Lakers are going to advance. And I'm going to have to go with Toronto. Toronto advancing for the Lakers. Okay, thanks.
Interesting choices there, that's for sure. But I really think Lakers are going to do it. I can't wait to watch the playoffs. They're going to be a lot of fun. It's so different being in the bubble. There's no home court advantage, which comes down, which is huge too, because Lakers are able to have home court advantage all 7 games with Clippers. Is that going to affect it? It's going to be tough to keep the Raptors, who love, like they thrive off their home court and their fans and stuff, so like they'll have a bit of a tough time there. I still think LeBron's going to thrive in this no-fan atmosphere too, because he's such a superstar. He's been in the playoffs so many times before. He thrives under pressure when it comes to it. Like, people say he does choke too, but like I think LeBron, when it comes to it, man, like he's a hell of a gamer. I think he's hungry this year. He's taking it. He wants that ring. And yeah, that's my prediction, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know below who you got in the description. Like, comment for me, let me know who you got. And yeah, until next video, guys. Thank you.
Plus, the dominance of LeBron James leading the league in assists and setting the table. Plus, the height the Lakers have up front with AD, an all-NBA performer, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. That can be suffocating. So I'm taking the Los Angeles Lakers.